Welcome to another episode of the Co-op Connection podcast. Today we are joined by Jason Gingert from Voss Lighting. Jason will share common mistakes made when looking at lighting and controls, ways that partnering with Voss can help your organization save time and money, and how Voss can help even when the funds may not be available. So sit back, crank up that volume, and enjoy. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the podcast. We are very excited that you're here today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Great. Well, I wanted to start. I'm going to give you a slow ball to start.
Okay.
Could you just walk us through what Voss does and maybe how long you've been doing this?
Sure. Voss is a lighting company, and we provide lighting products. We've supplied lighting products that our customers need to keep their properties functioning. And we've done that well for, I think, about 85 years. So
wow.
We've been around for a little while. We've been in Houston for about 25 years, I believe, and maybe pushing 30. And so we've built on our business on just supplying our customers with good quality industrial products, lighting products that they can depend on for energy savings and longevity. Recently, really, with the advent of LED, our business has kind of taken a little bit of a different twist in that now we're really engaged in providing our customers with lighting improvement solutions.
Okay.
So we walk them through how to improve our lighting in their various spaces, and perhaps it's driven by the need to save energy, perhaps it's driven by a need to save maintenance. But we provide a pathway to improve their lighting. And then we also provide the installation and the service that goes along with that.
Okay, so kind of turnkey.
It's very turnkey.
That's great. That's great.
One stop shop.
That's great. Do you find it difficult walking into a building and probably the first thing you try to notice is the lights, right?
It's hard not to notice the lights. Yeah, we end up with neck issues because we stare up a lot.
That's great. Yeah. And I think you've been a co-op vendor for about 5 years now. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. So
good run.
Not only the longevity in terms of 85 years and then the 25 years in Houston, but also as a co-op vendor. And we're thankful for you and what you've done to our members.
Absolutely.
So when I'm thinking through this, I'm sure there's other lighting companies out there that try to do what you do. What are some of the ways that you would, or what are some of the things that you would mention to our members on why they should partner with you specifically at Voss?
Sure. Really, expertise is what really comes to mind first, and then I would say next to that, personal care. So we understand there's many ways that people can get a hold of lighting products these days, and the internet has made it very efficient and easy for a lot of people. Just press a button and get the products that they need, and sometimes that really works out well for them. There's also local retailers where you can pick up products that you need. Where Voss stands out is we really provide the knowledge and expertise to guide people into the right types of solutions and products for their applications. So when we're navigating the sea of options, I need some help. Voss comes in and provides that help. And we provide it with personal attention. We give personal attention from our reps that will spend the time with the customer, understanding what it is they want to do, what their needs are, and then customize solutions that meet the customer's needs. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, customer service, I think, is such a big deal nowadays too, right? I think a lot of people can get caught up in pricing. So what's the cheapest that I can do? Right. And sometimes that might work, but in reality, you're probably going to have a situation where the next year you're going to have to do the same thing over again. Yeah. But I feel like what sometimes kind of falls through the crack is customer service. And I'm thankful that y'all provide that.
Yes.
And so thinking through the YouTube era that we're in, the quick fixes, things like that, what are some mistakes that our members in particular could make when they're thinking through whether it's a big lighting project, whether it's a simple fix, maybe they're trying to Band-Aid something? What are some mistakes that you've seen made in the past?
Yeah, we see a lot of mistakes, and and you kind of mentioned one of them, and it's that noble goal of saving money.
Okay.
All right. And while that in and of itself is not a mistake, that's we all are looking for ways to do that. What it ends up in is sometimes products that aren't the right type for the application, or products that are just constructed, we'll just say cheaply,
Okay.
and don't end up performing for the customer the way they would like them to. And then really what ends up happening is maybe 2 to 3 years down the road, they're in a situation where they're looking to have to redo or fix their mistake. And we do encounter those situations. And that's why I say we see mistakes, because we do talk to people that are in that situation. And so I would say that is a mistake that we would like to see people generally avoid when we interact with them.
Yeah.
We're going to give them a path forward that involves them avoiding that pitfall.
Yeah.
Really, I guess a couple other mistakes that come to mind is, lighting is one of those things that not everyone has a high level of knowledge and expertise about, especially when you start throwing controls into the mix. And churches, they like to control their lights, especially in their worship centers.
Yep.
And so there is a dynamic of interaction between controls and lighting that we provide that help and assistance with.
Okay.
That often when we see people try to go it alone can end up in a less than desirable situation. The third thing I can think about really is just delaying the solution.
Okay.
So we don't have the resources or the funds to do this project now that needs to be done, so we're just going to wait. And that waiting really just results in that particular solution or project costing more down the road than if they were to just deal with it today.
Okay. Let me ask you a question based off of that. What if I am a church or maybe a Christian school that I see the need, the need to fix something, but maybe I don't have the capital to do it right then and there. Right. Is there something that Voss does to help with that? Are there steps in the process that they can take to maybe fix some things here and there?
Absolutely. We can certainly, if it's a large project that they want to do and it just looks like too ginormous of a hurdle to overcome, then we can certainly we can break that down into more bite-sized pieces for them, and working with our customers to understand their budgets and what they have ability to do financially helps us then to package solutions that meet them where they are. The other thing that often isn't known or thought about is we can leverage the savings of energy and maintenance costs and come up with a monthly payment that works for them, works for their budget, and allows us to get started now versus later. Okay. Gives that ability to take on that project without a huge capital campaign or outlay of funds. Because that's often what happens is we have to raise the funds or wait on a donation. Yeah, right. Some kind of a waiting for the money to come before we do this. And we provide a way to do that now, which, like I said, costs much less than waiting and doing it later.
Absolutely. So, waiting until there is no return almost.
Well,
you have to do it.
Everything goes up in price over time.
That's true.
And so it's not only just money wasted by continuing to operate your less than efficient lighting products now. You're using energy costs now. You're realizing maintenance costs now. And we could eliminate that or reduce that and start realizing the benefit of a cost reduction lighting solution now versus later. And then on top of that, you have price escalation and energy costs and all that stuff. Yeah. So it makes sense to do it sooner than later.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. And then in terms of the industry that you're in, I think what our members love to hear on the podcast is there anything that they could be looking at for the future? You've already kind of mentioned LEDs, things like that, but if I'm a facilities guy walking around my church and I've heard all the things you're mentioning, what are some things that I could be looking for saying, okay, maybe that's something I could tackle now, or maybe that's something I should think about due to energy consumption? What are some of those things you would recommend?
Well, a lot of churches are feeling the squeeze right now of some of their products that they've been using for the last 20 years suddenly becoming less than unavailable or difficult to find.
Okay, just in stock in general.
Well, suddenly they can't find the product that they used to have for this application because energy saving legislation and the market moving a different direction. Suddenly that product's not available as it used to be. So that's definitely something we're hearing a lot of. I would say for church facility personnel, they really need to be prepared for a lot of their legacy products that they use eventually disappearing from the marketplace or just becoming ridiculously unaffordable or reachable. You can't find them anymore. So preparing now is key. Okay. Getting your church ready. We call it future proofing. Where you get the products and the solutions in place now before it hits a very critical time where you can't maintain or fix whatever the problem is that you have. Controls age out. Churches love to dim their lights. Yes. We find lots of dimming panels and dimming controls that are aging out. They don't play nice with LED products. So when you talk about moving your lights toward LED, you also have to look at the control system. And the controls are new and do more than even the legacy controls used to be able to do. So oftentimes we can value engineer a project and save the church a lot of money in going a different way with their control system than the way that they've been using. Really, these huge dimming racks that end up in churches are even becoming a thing of the past. Okay. And a lot of people don't realize that, and we can come in and really help them understand what the new technology looks like and how that can really save them some costs overall. So
that's great. And then this future proofing that you're doing, is that something where you will go into a church, maybe they're thinking about doing a project, or maybe they're just like, hey, I would love some education on where we're at. Do you go into a church and help them with that and help show them, here's what we would recommend to do, and here's kind of what we would propose, and they can at least start marinating on that?
Yeah, we love to do that. Okay. In fact, the more people we get to talk to at a church, the better. Okay. All right. The more ears that we get to educate, then that's great for us. But we love to go in and just as a consultant, sit down and talk about their situation and then establish a path forward, because really doing a little bit here and there and that could have a less than desirable effect too, where you come to a point where it's not the solution you needed to do to really get the church on track for future technology. It was just kind of more or less a temporary holdover solution or even a patch. And so, we like to give them a clear path forward. Here's what you need to do. This will get you ready for the next 10 years. Yeah. Right. And and not put you in a situation where you're having to redo in another 2 or 3 years. So, okay. Yeah. Well,
that's great. Well, I think this is very beneficial, and what we'll do is we'll put your information at the end of the podcast video, and I would encourage anybody to reach out to Jason, and like he said, let's just start future-proofing, because you never know what's going to happen. So things could increase drastically in the next year or two. You never know.
We have a good idea where the lighting technology and industry is headed, and we'd love to lead you there.
So. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Co-op Connection podcast. For more information about Voss Lighting and how they can help your ministry, please feel free to reach out to Jason directly or give us a call at 832-478-5131.